We work really closely with Blue Prism. They've been really helpful in terms of understanding the policing problem. Blue Prism really understood the outcomes that we were trying to drive from automation. We didn't come into automation initially looking for financial savings. It was very much about being able to meet that gap between if our capacity is here and our demand is here, how do we start bridging that gap? It was about giving a better service to the public.
As with any procurement, we go through a very formal procurement exercise, which Blue Prism were obviously part of. I think the differentiator with Blue Prism was certainly there was an ease of use within the product itself. In the early days, Blue Prism worked hard to make this as easy as possible for us as an organisation to sort of onboard. They've been very accessible, almost see them as an extension of our own IT function.
We have 12 digital workers right now. We'll be growing that to 15 within the next few weeks, and then it's going to be 18 within the next 3 months. The automation itself is delivering the equivalent of 50 FTEs worth of filing tasks. The benefit of removing this filing task from our frontline officers is the equivalent of 390,000 hours a year in Hampshire alone, which is the equivalent of getting 90 police officers back on the streets and doing the things that they need to do. The MASH is a really good example of where we're able to triage information coming in through the use of automation, which means that something very high priority may have been sitting waiting until someone could have got to it, but we're getting to those things faster than we ever did before.
We have a reasonably small team, so there's less than 60 of us across the force, and we're dealing with 14,000 tasks every month. To triage that amount of work was taking up a huge proportion of our staff officers day, because we've essentially reduced them to being admin driven. So the RPA has really helped us to add value and focus back on what matters to those young people. We've got 4 robotic processes in MASH at the moment. They're constantly tweaked and improved. What's been really useful for us is that it's a very quick implementation. The team work really closely with us. It's not a long drawn out process. Often ICT involves a request or a bid, and often several months wait for that tech to change, but this is often almost instant. It means that those at highest risk of high harm are being targeted for support as early as possible, often within an hour of that trigger coming to us.
We see automation and RPA very much as an enabler to other things. Being able to find innovative ways of being able to do more with the same or less is really important, and that's where RPA for me really fits the bill. We made a conscious decision to look more at our frontline policing and how we could benefit frontline policing through some of the automation. There's been a very material productivity release. The demand for it is ever increasing.
RPA can do a lot of the transactional tasking to allow our officers freedom to do more complex investigation. They really bought into the solutions, and actually it's now like a runaway train in some ways. Not only have we released time for our officers and staff to do other tasks, but also we're delivering a much better service to the public in that we understand the risk better and we can make more informed decisions.